Hello, welcome to Workshop 8. We're still on curtain wall, but now we're on the exterior wall detail. And we're going to be looking at how to create details in Revit. So I have my example model here. And let's look first at kind of what the detail is. The detail is basically just a section through the model. So if I go down to level 1, there's a couple ways I can create a detail. One is by creating a call out, and I did a quick preview of what that looks like in the first curtain wall, but I'll show you this too. So I have here kind of a view for my plan. In the View tab, if I click on Call Out, a couple of options out here. I can have it, if I click Reference Other View, I can pick from all of these other views, or I can create a drafting view this will reference. A drafting view is a view that actually is completely independent of the geometry inside Revit. So unlike a section, which is a different view of your model, drafting view is just a drawing view, something that you draw from scratch. So I can have this reference anything, but I'm going to have this not. So here we go. Click, draw my call out. After I've created it, I can pull this out to wherever I need it to be for my plans. You can see there's sort of couple things I can do here. I can always resize it, double click the head, and now I have a close-up, and I can begin drawing over the top of this. This is how we create details in Revit. Go to Annotate, and then I can begin drawing on top of this with detail lines. I can insert a component, but I can place detail elements on this. I can do all kinds of things to it. And all of the same visibility graphics that I have in here before I can use. So let me close out of this. For this class, what you're really looking for is to create the wall detail. I'll give you a look at what we'll be creating. So this is wall detail that I drew in preparation for this tutorial. So you get a sense of what we're going to make. Now this is all actual Revit geometry. This is all Revit geometry. Actually, if I click on this wall, you'll see that that wall down there lights up. If I click on the floor, there you go, you can see my floor turns on. And then some of this is not Revit geometry. Some of it, like this, are just filled regions that I drew. In fact, if I were to select everything and then filter out the detail items and the lines, this is what you'd be left with. Kind of stripped down geometry of Revit. So let's take a look at how to make one of these. I'm going to do this video in two parts, by the way. Mainly because my screen capture doesn't allow me to record for more than 15 minutes. So this is going to be a section. Start with that, go to View, Section, and then draw my section just like I would anything else. Since this is a detail section, I'm going to give it a very shallow view range. And then I just click on the head of my section, and now here you go. This is what I have. It's a good idea to pick the view range that you're actually going to need. I think for class we're doing 3 inches equals a foot. One thing you'll notice that happens with that is the line weights get a little more manageable. If, for instance, this were to be 1 to 20, see the line weights change accordingly. Now in Revit, if I have a section, I can break that section by clicking on these break lines here. That creates 2 sections. So this is pretty handy when you have a full building like this, because now I can, rather than having to do this one massive section, I can break it down into more manageable pieces. Now here's the catch with this. it moves in this direction, I can't unlock these from each other. So the reason that's a problem is because if you look at my 3D view, my building actually has this jog to it. So I won't be able to, I'll need a very wide section, especially at 3 inches equals a foot, to capture all of, to capture my entire wall. And if you look at my building, every side of it is like this. So the way around this is I'm actually just going to create multiple sections and stack those up in Revit. So if I need to move these sections, I can do this. If I need to join them back together, just kind of push them together like that. Then there we go. So this is going to be one section. I'll bring up my floor plan again. Just going to copy my floor plan and then paste it, line to the same place. You can see these building up over here. Let me open a sheet so I'll show you how these all are going to end up on one sheet together. So I already created a sheet called Envelope Details. Take my first section that I created, which might have been 4. We'll find out in a minute. Oops, I forgot these are actually going to be enormous because this is 1 to 3 inches. In this case, by the way, you don't need to necessarily have a sheet. I can delete this and just have one big page. And then I can plot this from, I can still plot this like I would any other sheet. I'm going to take this, activate my view, condense this down a little bit. You'll see that it's not the crop region that moves, it's the entire, it's that actual section, complete section. Then I'm going to deactivate my view. And this is just going to be an exact duplicate of the last one that I have, but I'm going to activate it, push these two pieces together. This warning pops up in the corner telling me that the regions have been consolidated. That's fine. Bring this up here, and now I'm just going to turn off my crop so that I can see where I am. And I'll pick my crop and I'll drag it to where I want it to be next. And in this case, I want to capture where my curtain wall transitions into this brick. Then I'll just break it again. Oops. It's giving me this warning saying I can't break it. Oh, I get it, because it won't let me manipulate that independently. So in order to break that crop region, I actually need to turn crop regions back on. There we go. Then I'll just consolidate these. Deactivate my view. Then I'll bring this back down here. You can see that it wants to align with itself, but then also with where, in relationship to this other crop region. But I'm simply not going to let it. There we go. So I'm just going to nudge that to get to line up. And you might actually, I mean, I don't know, it depends on how much paper you want to use, but you might actually want to just do something like this. So, and as you can see, what I would do is I would then probably duplicate this one. I'll go through the whole process for you here so you can see where I'm trying to end up. And I'm being very careful not to, I don't want to resize my crop region. If I did, it's easy to fix it again. I can just, well, I'll show you in a minute. Once again, I have to turn the crop region back on to show you this, but let me just finish this and I'll show you what I'm going to do. There we go, and that's the top. You can see I've been a little sloppy with my geometry. My ceiling and steel are actually poking through right here. And turn crop back on. I can edit the size of my crop here, and it's basically giving me the size of that crop based on my view scale. So this is telling me how large it's going to be on the sheet. So this is actually, right now, given my current scale, this is going to be 40 inches high, which is probably not what we really want to do. So I'm just going to deactivate the view. Oops, to deselect, there we go. Oh, sorry, I thought it was on my sheet. I'm not on my sheet. Oh. There we go. And now I'm just going to put this on the sheet as well. Same thing. I think I'll probably line it up with this guy on the bottom. You can see the crop regions want to align. This is kind of big. I probably want to break this too, actually. The thing I can do with this also is that because I have these at different locations, I could actually manipulate these in space. So if I go up to my roof level, just have to find my view. There it is. And I could actually move this so that I capture my truss. There we go. Now you can see the edge of that truss. This is it for really creating the section. The next I'm going to show you how to actually get into adding detail to this. And if I'm curious about how big this is going to print, I probably don't even want to know, but I'm guessing this is going to be enormous. I can dimension this. No, it's not going to let me snap. Let me just draw a line. You can always measure things with lines, by the way. So if I go to annotate, detail line, 7'8". It's a little big, but it's not terrible. Typically, I'll see these each year where there'll be a larger section like this. We could probably squeeze this down to 6. Anyhow, in the next tutorial, I'm going to show you how to add detail items to this. Thank you.